I'm Cameron Small, I'm lead developer on Marauders. We're here at the Royal Leeds Armoury. Jonathan Ferguson is here to school me on these wonderful weapons, this one being a prototype. We always want to lean into having the weird and wonderful guns in our game, and he is here to help us and guide us to do the right thing. So we have here is the EM-1?
EM-2. They're pretty similar,
yeah,
to be fair.
And as we discussed earlier, Thorpe is kind of a mysterious gunsmith.
Thorpe is EM-1.
Okay, then he's EM-1. Here we go. See, I told you he's here to tell me the right and wrongs things.
There's a whole gaggle of guys involved in this. This is a much wider British programme to come up with the new small arms for the post World War II era. Literally, they're anticipating Cold War and possibly hot war with the Soviet Union. Mm-hmm. So we're stuck with bolt-action rifles. We've got outdated machine gun, the old Vickers gun from pre-World War I. Yeah. So they're trying to replace everything, and this is what they were going to do for a rifle.
I mean, it's outstanding. I mean, obviously this bullpup design is striking immediately, but what attracted me to this being as a design is that we have the STG-44 in the game right now, and it's the heavy damage dealer of the game, right? It's chambered in Sim 6.2, which I'm sure everyone will be very raged to hear, but it's just the current way we designed the game. But we needed an assault rifle that was completely different but served essentially the same purpose, which as you said there, is basically why the gun exists. But obviously the bullpup is the thing that tracks me straight away, and we are a CQB game essentially, though, in terms of, so the bullpup design is kind of great for that.
It is, yeah. Weirdly, that was not the design intent of this. It was more about trying to keep the rifle lightweight.
Right.
And they thought by removing the buttstock from the rifle, chunk of wood, butt plate, and probably you've got a bit of metal there to join it onto the gun. That's not insignificant in terms of weight savings. Mm. So that was their motivation. Obviously, the major upside as well is it makes it great for CQB and in a Cold War context for jumping in and out of APCs, helicopters, spaceships, exactly. So it wasn't just one thing, but the one thing they did write down was actually about saving weight.
Right, and this is technically a prototype, could we say?
This one's a prototype. It was actually adopted as rifle number 9. There's an existing rifle, bolt-action rifle, was rifle number 4, and there are others in between, obviously, but in terms of main service rifles, the next one would have been rifle number 9. It was adopted in April 1951, and then none were ever made. So only the prototypes exist, and there's a whole political saga. You mentioned caliber. Well, 7.62 NATO is the end point, along with the various rifles adopted by the powers of the Cold War. America wanted to go its own way. Britain was still trying to flex those imperial muscles and have NATO, or what would become NATO, adopt their rifle, or our rifle, and their cartridge as well. So this was going to be 280, so smaller diameter bullet than 303, in a short cartridge. It's that Sturmgewehr concept. Low recoil, low cartridge weight, compact weapon. It's just that Britain decided we're going to do this newfangled, buttless,
do something different
design.
I mean, yeah, I can totally feel it. Like this is a prototype weapon. It's just straight away though, the optic. So like I'm trying to struggle to acquire some sort of sight picture through this, and I've noticed
it has faded over the years.
I mean,
it would have been clearer in 1951.
It can still function. I see it. It's dropping in from the top.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a logic to that.
Okay, love to hear it.
Yeah. This ended up going nowhere, as you know, and the SA-80 was done 20 odd years later instead, revisiting a lot of the same issues. But anyway, and the SUSAT site on that, so ex-British service people watching this will know very well, comes up from the bottom. But the prototype for that site and the marksman sight for the old SLR, the L1A1, was actually coming down from the top. And it's the same logic. There's actually a Colt M16 scope that does the same. It's so that big needle pointer thing isn't obscuring your target.
Why isn't this widely adopted?
Bring it down onto target. Now, nowadays, we always come up onto target.
Okay.
So it's not really the way to do it.
It just looks great. it's such a nice sight picture, and it's so unique. If you're making a video game, you have the opportunity to have a wacky, sight. Like you gotta do it. So we're gonna have to make it exactly the way it is.
Well, thinking about attachments.
Oh.
Now, I don't want to give you ideas, but so the original version of this had a bipod attachment on the front, like the EM-1. So you could have a bipod out the front there.
Okay.
There's a sniper version, which is a 3.5 power scope instead of, because this has no magnification, as you've just seen. It's just to replace iron sights. So limited attachment options, but historically there's at least one that would have seen service, and they moved away from the bipod, but it's not to say you couldn't put it back on if you wanted to.
Interesting. You've given me some great ideas. Now, if I was to give this, weapon a name, a designation, because obviously we're an item looting based game, what would you like to see it be called? Is it number 9? I
think so, yeah, because essentially you're doing alternate history, aren't you? So if this exists in numbers, it has to have been because it was actually chosen over the FAL as rifle L1A1.
That's what did
potentially.
happen.
If it depends when it came in. If it came in prior to 1957, which logically it would have done, it would be rifle number 9. If they couldn't get their act in gear and it came in 762 NATO, post 1957, this is what would have been rifle L1A1.
Okay. Ooh, I got options. Great. That's fascinating. Thank you so much for that. That's great. This is a piece of work, to say the least.